got Soldier as well, 98.
Yeah.
He has another movie that he produced that we are about to do next, DOA, Dead or Alive. Yeah,
See,
but I mean...
DOA is sort of what, like, that style of movie, over-the-top action, highly stylized is sort of what I associate him with when I think of, like, the Resident Evil movies and such.
Right.
But, I mean, you're right. Soldier is... I used to watch that a lot. And Event Horizon is just a really great horror sci-fi flick.
It is. It's fun. And I mean, so tell me, what are a few of the really bad movies that you had in mind here? Because I want to see where I'm at with you on this. When you say really bad movies.
Okay, sure. Alien vs. Predator in 2004.
Loved it.
Resident Evil Apocalypse. Now these are some. Let me just stick with the ones he directed.
Right.
Let's see here. Death Race.
Love Death Race. I do love Death Race.
Resident Evil Afterlife.
Never saw Afterlife, actually. I never saw Resident Evil past the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm thinking mainly of Resident Evil movies then when I associate them. And then Monster Hunter is also supposed to be one of the worst movies in decades,
yeah,
so who knows?
That, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but he did do 2011, The Three Musketeers, the action film. If you remember that.
Oh, yeah. Love Three Musketeers, yeah.
Orlando Bloom, Ray Stevenson, Mila Jovovich, of course, and Christoph Waltz was in this?
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that. Anyway, so those are some of the movies, I guess. Maybe I was giving him a harder time than he deserves, but you know what I may have been doing this whole time? Now that I'm doing, sort of looking at his films,
what?
Who's the guy who does all of those... his last name's Bowl. He does like Blood Rain.
Oh, yeah, I know who.
U-Bowl.
U-Bowl. Yep.
That's who I'm thinking of. My apologies. I'm still not a fan of all your films, Paul Anderson, but thank you for listening. And I'm more thinking of U-Bowl.
Yeah,
because he does like In the Name of the King, Blood Rain. He was an executive producer. Yeah, I can just keep saying Blood Rain to be honest. But yeah, so that's the director. And anybody else we want to talk about before we sort of dive into the movie?
I mean, not really. I mean, no, I think we've hit it, pretty much. I think we want to talk about the movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, just let me touch on the cinematographer, John Robert Leonetti. Because if I'm not mistaken, his brother directs Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yes, Annihilation, yeah.
Yeah, so... No, he directs. Yeah, excuse me. John R. Leonetti, the cinematographer for Mortal Kombat, directs Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So there you go. The worst movie of all time, but we'll talk about that soon. Why don't we go ahead then, Marcus, and why don't we get into the body count?
I killed them. I killed them all.
I see bodies in the floor.
No, they're all dead. They're all dead.
So this is the body count for the first Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1995. Marcus, what do you think the body count is?
I'm going to say 8. I'm going to say 20.
Damn, dude. 21.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nice work. Wait, nope. Pardon me. That was Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh,
so
okay.
the final tally for Mortal Kombat 95, I had my tabs too close together, is 18.
Oh, I was about to say 18 the first one, too.
You were. I heard you.
Yeah.
Some of the major kills. I mean, I think the one that's maybe the biggest finisher, Goro kind of does a finisher.
Yeah.
And Sonya Blade does breaks Kano's neck.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we have Sub-Zero freezing somebody and busting them up. But yeah, it's I guess like, you know, they're not finishers in a way. I mean, you have like the move, they use the moves like Sonya does and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm trying to think, like, the only two humans that die are, is there only two? Is it only Kano and
the fighter, the martial arts guy that Goro kills?
Oh, the Goro killed? Well, then three, then maybe. The one that Sub-Zero kills when they're doing kind of the showing when they're all eating in the temple and stuff.
Yeah, that poor fuck.
Yeah, I know. Like, he's like, night's over with, we're eating, we're having a good time, and then Shang Tsung comes out and says no.
He's like, nah, let's see what we can do here. Yeah. And you know what? He gives it his all, doesn't he?
Boy,
he certainly...
I remember seeing him in the film
he's
or in the
jacked.
kid when he's just doing that.
Yes.
God.
Vivid memories of that. So that's the body count. There's 18, and we'll go ahead and spoil Mortal Kombat Annihilation's body count. That was my bad, which is 21. This movie is special to me, Marcus, because it was one of the first PG-13 movies I saw as being born. Because
Go ahead.
I think this was 95, so when this movie came out, I was 12.
Yeah, and what I was interrupting you on very rudely was that you also have a story with Mortal Kombat the movie that I think you touched on briefly in another episode. But
I did.
What were the qualifications of you being able to see this movie?
Yeah, so my father, because he and I talked about this recently about him not letting me watch R movies or PG-13 movies till I was 13, but I really wanted to see Mortal Kombat, and I was probably pretty persistent about that, but I was 12. I was right on the cusp, you know. I'm saying it's PG-13. It is PG-13, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. Seems like something we should know immediately, but hey.
Yeah, it's PG-13. I just started second-guessing myself. So I wanted to see it, and of course, based off the video game, my dad was understandably hesitant to that, being like, well, I know in the video game spines are ripped out, so maybe we can assume that that's what the movie's going to be like. He's like, but it's PG-13, so he allowed me to go see the movie. I may have gone to see it alone or with my friend Anthony in Alabama. Playhouse Cinema only ever showed 3 movies, and that's where I saw Mortal Kombat. I went to go see it, and he said I had to have a condition that I go see this movie, and that condition is that I come back with a moral takeaway, like something that this movie taught me or tried to show to me that was morally redeemable. Right. These aren't his words; these are just sort of what the task was, and I watched the movie. I got to do it. I would have said yes no matter what. You know, it didn't matter.
Sure.
So on the way back, because it was about an hour and a half drive from where he lived to where my mother lived, and we were sitting there talking about it, and we were like, you know, we were just having the small chat, and then he's like, so, what'd you learn from the movie? And I believe what I took away from this movie as a 12-year-old kid was revenge is bad. May have been the quote, but as I watched this as an adult, I don't think this movie gives that up as like a thing. Like,
yeah,
Sonya kills Kano,
right?
And doesn't really have any moral. There's no like, ooh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe that's me going towards the dark side.
Yeah,
you know,
no, she just wants to keep killing. It seems like she just wants to keep going. Yeah.
And Liu Kang kills Shang Tsung. And doesn't feel bad about it.
No.
Like it, because I mean he has to. Granted, it's a necessity, but still. So that was my story. I got to see Mortal Kombat based off that idea that I could go see it with the caveat that I need to come back with a moral lesson.
Right.
And I did, and I got to see it. My dad was kind enough to let me do it. But I think back about that, and we talked about this earlier episodes. But like, you always have friends that you see movies at.
Sure.
Like, I never saw a controversial movie at my home, my mother's or my father's. I was always at a friend's house who just had this VHS collection or something like that.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Dad. And let's talk about this movie a little bit more before we move on. Marcus, what do you think the tagline was? Do you know?
Yeah, I did look at the two taglines. We had two. Combat begins, and nothing in the world has prepared you for this.
That's right.
Which, two facts. Those are facts. I mean,
those are absolute facts.
Yeah.
What do you think is a better tagline?
I would say, let's see, you had 1, 2, 3. I would say 3 warriors, 2 gods. What could go wrong?
You're good at it, Marcus.
Yeah,
that's a great one. It almost sounds like it's a renegade cop movie, but still,
it sounds like it's a cross country, like just with 3 warriors and 2 gods who are
2 gods.
Just like the gods always want to stop at a truck stop, and it's just like
that's
what
right.
could go
They want
wrong?
to. So I think this movie has wonderful fight choreography. What do you think is the standout fight scene?
Johnny Cage, Scorpion.
Yep, I think so too. Scorpion was originally hired as a stunt person, but eventually became Scorpion. It is wonderful. Multiple worlds. It deals with the supernatural. There's basically a finishing move. Scorpion's filled with lava, apparently, or whatever that is bubbling out of him. We get to see. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you get a shadow kick from Johnny Cage.
Mm-hmm.
You get, you get like the beautiful forest that they shot in, wherever that was at. But that was nice. It's just like all around. But what were you gonna add to it?
Well, I was gonna add I like going to Scorpion's world that is under construction. I guess that's where Scorpion lives.
Just a lot of scaffolding, like New York City, and just that's all.
I guess we're supposed to assume, like, whenever he disappears in the game, that's where he disappears to and comes back, or something like that. And we get to see the vanquished soldiers that he has fought before.
Yeah, I remember seeing this when I was a kid, and always thinking, oh, that world looks like the Little Monsters world that Fred Savage goes into.
Oh yeah,
just with all the scaffolding and stuff like that. And not a lot of fun. No food and video games. But,
the fight scene is great. I question the use of the shield. I didn't mind it, but it seemed to come out of nowhere, like. To kill Scorpion with a shield, I guess. Like, it seems... I mean, it's what was there, so it works, but I don't know. It seems like there could have been a more meaningful way to kill him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Johnny Cage knocking his head off would have been unbelievable. That would have been...
Oh, gosh. Just a sweet-ass uppercut.
Yeah. What about you? Was that your favorite one, or was that...
Absolutely. My favorite by far. I always enjoyed the staff fight between Liu Kang and the sort of no-name fighter with the dreads.
Hey, it's
the braids.
Kang. Hey, come
Louis Kang, Louis Kang Moving Services.
Greenwich, New Jersey. We're here for you 24/7.
The beach fight was I always enjoyed that fight.
Who was that guy? Did you do any research on him?
No, I didn't. I should have.
Yeah, I've always wondered. I remember seeing him and always thinking like, oh, as a kid too, watching these movies, you'd think like, oh, that's. Maybe he's like a secret character you can get in Mortal Kombat now or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing that and always just, trying to do something that would bring him forth, this dreaded god of a man. Just
He was a god of a man looking guy. I always enjoyed that staff fight. But yeah, it was always the Johnny Cage Scorpion fight for my taste. Johnny Cage was also my favorite character in the film. So that was, and I always enjoyed playing with Scorpion, and I think Johnny Cage was my favorite character to play with. So for me, it was the best of both worlds. It was set up. Everyone knows they're going to go fight people. I'm not sure why Johnny Cage has to go fight in a forest.
Yeah, that's kind of